Hey, this is Knife Standards. Today I'm going to be doing a quick update video on the Asher Knives Spiro. Anyway, this is the titanium Framelock version with the hole. This just came out. I did my unboxing first impressions on this. I wanted to give you guys just a little update on some things I've kind of discovered about this knife. And same thing with the Spyderco M4 Shaman. Wanted to update you guys on what's been going on with this knife as well. So we will get into all of that in just a second, but first, please follow me at Knife Standards. You can follow me on Instagram, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for a lot more knife content and weekly knife reviews. Okay, so let's get this out of the way, and let's go ahead and talk about the Spiro. I think it's Spiro, but I say Spyro because I used to play Spyro the Dragon? Yeah. Anyway, way back in the day. All right. So let's go ahead and talk about this knife. I've been enjoying it so far, but I've also kind of found the detent to be a little strange and the lock bar to be a little sensitive. First of all, let's go ahead and do an edge test. I didn't have any paper on my desk, so I didn't really get to show you guys straight out of the box, but I wanted to show you this edge. This is from Kunwu. They did the OEM for Asher. Let's go ahead and check it. Ooh, oh man. Ridiculous. And that is one of the really positive things I mentioned in the other video about Kunwu. Man, they know how to put an edge on a knife. I mean, it's just insanely sharp. And the other Kunwu knife that I had, the Tao, was also insanely sharp. So really, really good edge on this knife. One of the huge positives of having Kunwu as your OEM, you know you are going to get a serious edge. Now, let's go ahead and talk about I'll put this aside, talk about the Shaman real quick and the update for this guy. I'm going to come back to the Spiro. I got to decide on, I'm going to call it the Spiro. Anyway, I have a little bit more to talk about with the Asher knives, the Spiro Framelock, but we'll talk about that in just a second. I wanted to give you guys an update on the Shaman. As you can see, the action is much better. And the reason for that is I managed to loosen the pivot. I have disassembled one or two Spyderco knives. I forget the name of one of them. Something lightweight. And then the other one I think was a Para 3. Anyway, and the disassembly went great. It was super easy. But when I was making the video on this guy, I tried to just loosen the pivot, and for some reason I couldn't get it to budge in the video. So after I ended the video, I went back. One side is still like rock solid in there. I'm not sure if it's a captive pivot or if it's just Loctited in there. I'm going to take this apart eventually, so I will find out. But one of the sides I got to loosen up a little bit, messed up the centering, but action is so much more comfortable, so much better, so much smoother, and it drops to right about there, which is actually a really good spot because that nub doesn't pinch my finger. So it drops to here, I give it a shake, boom, done. That one wasn't as good. Let's see. Right there, almost got pinched, but not quite, and then an extra little shake. I am gonna have this removed eventually. I don't know why it's there. It definitely pinches you if you're using that compression lock. I found you can also just let go and then shake it shut, which works, but I prefer to kind of hang on to the compression lock. The pinch is real. So I definitely got to get that removed. Let's go ahead and do an edge, quick little edge test of the Shaman. Really nice. Oh no. Yep. Pretty good. I like it. There we go. So I kind of got it to drop and then got my finger out of the way. That is the way to do it. So that just about covers it for the Shaman. I'm excited to see a little bit of patina on the blade pretty soon. My hands are usually kind of sweaty. And then see how this loosens up and see what it looks like on the inside. I might do a disassembly. That was a pretty good close. I like this knife, my first real Spyderco. Now I'll get these papers out of the way. And let's go ahead and come back to the Spiro and talk about just what I found in the last day or so of carry of this knife. It's been in my pocket. I found it super lightweight in my pocket. It feels great. It's easy to carry. It's thin. The thing that I don't enjoy is the detent, and it's a weird thing. Detent is very subjective. It's everyone has their own personal tastes when it comes to detent. But what I found is that, like right now, I'm trying to flick it out. Not happening. And I mean, that's where you want to flick it. That's where your finger lands, or at least my finger lands. But no, it's not going to happen. So with any titanium frame lock, you risk having, lock bar pressure and sensitivity. Meaning if your finger is touching the lock bar, on the clip side, touching the lock bar, it might put pressure on the blade and on the detent, stiffen up the detent so you cannot deploy it. With any frame lock, that's a possibility. Some are really sensitive, some are not sensitive at all. Usually I'm pretty good about avoiding the lock bar. My finger kind of lands in the right place just because I've flicked a lot of frame locks. I love frame locks. But with this guy, I think it's because my finger is touching the lock bar, and it has to touch the lock bar in order to flick out the knife. It ends up putting a lot of pressure on the lock bar, on the detent, on the knife, and I cannot flick it out. What I found is if I just lower my finger to the bottom of the hole, but there's a joke in there somewhere. If I just lower it to the bottom of the hole, it's really nice. It's snappy, it's crispy. Detent feels awesome. It's just, it's taken me, a day to get used to having to flick it down here instead of where my hand just kind of lands. So I'm curious if you guys have this knife, where does your finger land? And have you guys had any issues with the detent? Because now that I've found kind of that sweet spot, I can be on the lock bar and it's fine. Not a big deal. So I don't know. You guys tell me what you think. Yeah, I mean, the detent feels awesome when I'm in the right spot. But again, if I'm up here, which is kind of crazy because I feel like if there's a hole in the knife and that is the main deployment method, this is designed to be flicked, I feel like you should be able to flick it anywhere. You should, if you want to be up here or down here, it shouldn't matter, but this is extra sensitive. So that just about wraps it up. Got my Shaman working, got my Asher knives, Spiro, and I'm going to keep the Spiro in my pocket today. Shaman's going in tomorrow. Got a few more knives on my desk. And I really appreciate all of you watching. This has been Knife Standards. I'll catch you later.